Everybody, we are live. If you are jumping in, we're going to let people come in here for a couple of minutes. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on LinkedIn for a masterclass we have titled The Sales Pros Guide to Filling Your Pipeline in 2024. Again, this is the Sales Pros Guide to Filling Your Pipeline in 2024. We are going to give the stragglers about 2 minutes just to get set up, teed up, and to be able to come in live. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. And we are even live on X. If you are on any one of those platforms right now, I would love for you to just say what's up. Just jump into the comment section there and just let me know that you're here. Pop in a name, an emoji, something to let me know that you are here, that you are live, that you are paying attention, and that you are fired up for what 2024 has in store for you. So again, we're going to let just another minute go by here, and then we are going to jump into the content that we have today. So we have some really, really exciting stuff for every single one of you. So I cannot wait to share that with you. Again, if you are jumping in right now, what's up, Chris Fisher? It's great to have you here. What's up, Justin Sherrod from Northern California? What is up? As much as I'm not a big fan of living in California nowadays, one thing, Justin, that we get to celebrate is the fact that the weather's pretty dang good here. That's pretty awesome to have. Again, if you are here and you are live, welcome to the Sales Pros Guide to Filling Your Pipeline in 2024. We've got 45 minutes jam-packed with information. I'm going to be sharing slides here in just a second, so just bear with me as we get ready to do that. We are going to give it about 30 more seconds, and then we're going to transition in. And so as I'm getting prepared to do that, again, if you are here now, I know there's more people I see that are jumping in on all of the different social platforms that we are live on. Somebody's already asked, will you be sharing this recording? And the answer is probably not. We want people to show up, to be attentive, and to be deeply invested into your sales success in 2024. So if you are here, drop a comment in your social platform to let me know, to let us know that you are here. Be happy to give you a shout out. I just want to see that you are here live and participating. The Sales Pros Guide to Filling Your Pipeline in 2024 starts right now. All right, so let's jump in. So I'm going to flip. We're going to share a screen here. This is going to be a little bit fun as we do this live and on the fly. I want to make sure that we're 100% dialed in here. So let me do that here in just a second. Play with a couple of windows, and we're going to get going for you. All right, let's do that right now. All right. Let's go here. All right. All right. So hopefully you guys can see my slides. I'm actually going to hop onto LinkedIn Live myself just to make sure that I can see the slides that I am sharing here. So let me jump in. If you see the slides, by the way, if you are live, let me know. Will Armour, thanks for being here, man. I can't wait either. I'm excited to share this content. I want to make sure that you can see my slides. So if you can see my slides, just let me know. Jump into the comment section and just say, yes, I can see, I'm here, I'm fired up, and I'm ready to go. Hopefully you are here and you are excited about what we are doing right now. So again, jump in, let me know that you can see those slides. I'm going to wait for confirmation from somebody before I do that because I don't want to jump ahead too far. So again, if you can see us, let me know that. Awesome. Good. Roddy, perfect. Justin, you haven't seen the slides yet. It looks like they should be coming any second into your purview there. So just give it a second. They should come in. We should be good to go. Perfect. Kathleen Ponter, you said you can see the slides. That means we're rocking. All right. Here we go. Okay, so what I want to open up with today is something that I open up every single one of my presentations with. And again, as you guys are here, if you are in this platform live, just jump in, say hey, ask a question, do whatever you want to do. We're going to keep going back and forth here. Okay, so one of the things that I want to encourage you all to consider is this, and it's the fact that if you are going to make any change, it takes you committing to that change. And when we think about this opportunity for growth, as we think about this opportunity for change, oh, here we go. Sorry, guys, slides should be up now. Can you see the slides now? I just realized that we didn't have a window flipped over. I think that they should be popped up. I think that we should be good to go right now. All right, here we go. Perfect. It looks like we're good. All right. So when we think about making change, too many of us commit to monster change. We think about making these radical adjustments, these radical improvements. And I just want to encourage you to consider 1%. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, William. You can see it. That means we're good. So I want you to consider making 1% change. 1% better every single day, 1% more improvement in your sales effort, in your sales activity. It's going to help you immensely. But to even make a 1% change, it means that we have to go beyond the ordinary. I mean, you may be thinking to yourself, well, 1%, like that's so minuscule, that's so minor. But we're considering a compounded effect. We're desiring a compounded effect. So eventually 1% every single day for the next 365 days of 2024 will be an insurmountable, incredible amount of change and growth. But my challenge to you is this, is that in order to see that 1% change, you must change the way you view yourself and the world around you. You just have to do things differently. We can't look at things the same way anymore. We have to deeply, deeply invest into this opportunity to change. Hello, Melissa Burkhart. It is so awesome to have you here. I always love seeing you pop up in any one of my feeds. I love that you're here. The only thing better would be if we were in person, because I could give you all a high five and a hug. I give everybody hugs. I love it. Okay, so we want to seek 1% change, but we need to recognize that it's going to take a massive reframing of our mind in order to do that. All right, so here's what we're going to work through today. 3 things. Number 1 is we're going to talk about finding leads. I want to help you identify ways in which you can find new leads right away. This is not theory. I am not here to just, I don't know, give you guys a whole bunch of theoretical ideas. I really want to give you some practical applications. So first up, we're going to talk about finding leads. Secondly, we're going to talk about engaging leads. And thirdly, we're going to talk about convincing leads. And if you've seen any of our content leading up to this, you've probably heard me say this, or if you've just heard me talk about sales at all anywhere else, you've heard this same thing, which is this is the single biggest problem every organization faces. And this is the single biggest problem every salesperson faces, is more leads. I have heard very few people that can honestly tell me that they have too many leads, that they have too many opportunities. Hello, Dee from Chicago. I am planning to get back to Chicago, one of my favorite cities in the country, early in 2024. Maybe we can meet up while I'm there. So again, this is our biggest challenge. This is our biggest problem organizationally, is creating more opportunities for ourselves. And yes, there's a lot wrapped up into that. But ultimately, our challenge is getting more leads into the top of our funnel to be able to work them through the dynamic sales process that I hope you have. And hopefully that you have a way to convert them too. But ultimately, the challenge is in creating new leads, new opportunities for yourself. So let's dig in. When I talk about finding leads, again, I want you to consider this. This is the single most important part of every sale. The single most important part of every single sale is generating new leads. And as a matter of fact, if you're live, let me know. Do you agree with me? Do you agree that generating new opportunities for yourself is the single biggest challenge you face in your business? Sound off in the comments. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. I believe it is. As a coach, I've trained sales people, sales teams. I find this to be the biggest challenge because this is the single most important part of a sale. It's not your value proposition. It's not your conversion strategy. It's not deliver your product or service. It's generating leads. If you can't generate leads, you can't do anything else. You can't do anything else. Craig Goodspeed, what's up, my man? You're right, Justin. If you don't have anyone to talk to, you don't have a business. And you have to have the right types of people to talk to, right? It's not just about talking to people. It's about having the right types of things to say to them. That means that we need to consider how we're generating leads. Clark Landale, what is up, my man? It's good to see you. You guys, if we were live, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be calling you all out. Somebody would have walked in late. I would have called them out from the back. Anyway, so there has been this crazy shift in lead gen tactic. There has been this incredible shift in how we're generating leads. And you may be saying to yourself, well, no duh, Ryan, of course there's a big difference. And the big difference is that I used to do things old school, and now I need to keep up with all this modern technology. And you're right. Technology has taken a huge, huge place in lead generation. Bringing it from Boston. I love that. Okay. In Boston, you still need to generate leads. I know you know that. But here's the problem, you guys. We have become far too dependent on technology to generate our leads for us. Let me say that again. You and I, me too, we have become far too dependent on technology to generate leads for us. And where we often see this, and I'm not saying any of these things in and of themselves is wrong because we need every single one of them, and I'm going to talk about them. But if you are simply posting content to social media and or sending out email blasts, you are doing yourself and your organization an incredible disservice. You are doing an incredible disservice because with the insane improvements and the evolution of technology in sales and in business, we have lost humanity in the midst of that. You know, I'm going to date myself for a second, but I started in sales. Let me get this right. 24-ish years ago. 24 years ago, I had my first professional sales job. Clark says AI will solve all of our problems. I'm actually going to talk about that in a few minutes, Clark, because I think AI has some incredible opportunities for us, but you're right. It doesn't solve our problems. Nothing solves the problem of our desire to connect human to human with other people. I mean, you think about it. You cannot be loved from a distance the way you can be loved in person. You can't have a friend from a distance like you can have a friend in person. I'm not saying you can't have a friend from a distance. I'm not saying you can't be loved from a distance. But we know that when we build the relationships that mean the most to us, in person is the way that we express that in the deepest sense, that we feel the most connected. Well, translate that into our business and into sales. We are trying to create a human to human emotional connection with people. Sales, buying decisions are emotional. And you and I both know this because how often do we try to convince a lead, a prospect, to buy from us, and we have an absolutely clear-cut, logical reason why they should? For all my friends in the employee benefit space that are on this, in this masterclass right now, you will get this when I say it. How many times have you presented significant cost savings to a prospect, and that prospect still told you no? It's because logic is not the deciding factor, nor the determining factor in the mass majority of sales. Emotion is. We are emotional creatures. We are emotional beings. We have been created to express and feel emotion. And so, therefore, this evolution of technology and adaptation of technology into lead gen has removed our ability to be human. And if it hasn't removed it, it's at least made it a whole lot harder. So, oh, I guess that was backwards. So, here's what I want to present to you as we work through the rest of this. I want you to think about how you can become more human in the midst of all of your lead outreach. How you can present yourself as more of a human being. And you may be saying to yourself, Ryan, but I am a human being. And it's like, I know you're not Pinocchio. You really are a little boy or a little girl. But it's far too easy for us to disconnect from the humanity of the interaction. And so we want to be really, really careful here. Great. All my slides are going to be backwards. I love when that happens. That's okay. So I want to talk to you then about how we can leverage some of these tools. And this is where it's going to get practical. How we can leverage some of these tools to become more effective in generating leads. Number one, you're going to hear a lot more from me about this, at least in 2024. Number one is when it comes to the traditional methods of lead generation, I want you all to consider localizing your outreach attempts, localizing your networking, localizing your prospecting, and localizing your targeting. What do you mean by that? I believe that because of the gift of the internet, but also because of the disaster of the pandemic, we began to believe that we could just do everything remotely. And this isn't an argument over remote work versus in-person work, though if you want me to play my cards, I'll tell you that I think in-person work is far better the mass majority of the time. But I'll digress from that for now. But I want you to consider the good damage you could do in your own backyard by building stronger relationships, by paying more attention to those people of influence that can create opportunities for you to generate more business in your own backyard. I want you to think about the groups, the organizations, the individuals that you could network with right in your own backyard. I've been doing this with a lot of my coaching clients and business consulting clients over the last month. Is we have been looking at the metropolitan area that they are in, that they reside in or do business in, and then a few of the major metropolitan areas that are closely tied to them. And I am encouraging them to start considering the types of businesses, the types of organization or associations that are in those areas. And so for you, what organizations, what associations, and what businesses are in your backyard? Have you overlooked them because it's too easy for you to access national information? I get it. You can do business everywhere. That's fine. But I'm telling you right now that the majority of people that you are going to try to do business with will buy into you much more quickly and much more deeply if they're to shake your hand or give you a hug. I like to give hugs. I said that. But really, you face to face in real life, IRL, as the kids say, is far more powerful. It's going to give you a much stronger opportunity to build rapport, to communicate the passion that you have for the market that you serve, for the products and services that you sell, for the outcomes that you desire to provide. Do you agree? Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. Do you agree that you've maybe overlooked your backyard, and or maybe that there are some significant opportunities in your backyard that you just haven't even considered yet? Because I think they're there. Think about ways that you can network. Thanks, Justin. I'm glad to see that there was somebody that said yes. Justin Melton, you are a good man for being honest. It's hard to be honest about these things, right, you guys? Because we want to be seen and we want to be known as successful sales professionals, as successful business owners. I mean, you guys, I've been teaching sales for the better part of 14 years. And in 14 years, I still find myself making these mistakes over and over again. I just yesterday started a campaign to market to like-minded business professionals in my own backyard. I've never done it before. I just don't understand what I was thinking. But it's because I just get too caught up in whatever's coming to me and not focused on where I should be going. Think about the types of groups that you could be around, or better yet, build your own professional network. You don't have to build some big, massive network, but get together with some key centers of influence in your local market that you could meet for lunch or coffee. And think about what you could do in together strategizing around how to refer business to each other, how to build a power team, and how ultimately to get in front of the opportunities that you're looking to get in front of. That will create more referrals. And I would even say, are you taking advantage of opportunities to advertise in your local market? Now, I am all about, if you've worked with me, you've heard me say this, I am all about finding the easiest, most cost-effective ways to do the things that we need to do. And so I'm going to tell you one way that you can advertise that's going to cost you maybe nothing, except a little bit of time. Have you ever been to your local coffee shop or breakfast spot? I just came from my local breakfast spot this morning. Shout out to Nikki's Kitchen in Yorba Linda, California. Best breakfast burrito. And it's not just because it's named after me, but because it's really bomb. Anyway, they have a board up and I haven't done this. And I was sitting there this morning and I'm like, I need to do this. Have you just thought about popping a business card up? I don't care who comes into that shop. Somebody is going to come through at some point. Create a business card specifically to be in there. Need benefits? Need IT services? Need to transform your life? Hire a coach. Whatever. Pop up a little advertisement right there. You never know when somebody in your local community is going to come into that shop and see your information. Realtors do it and they get business. Bankers do it and they get business. Local fitness facilities do it and they get business. You should do it too. That's not below you. You never know when a C-level executive, an owner of a business, or somebody of high influence hops into that shop and happens to pass by and see your card or see your information. Take opportunities to advertise any way you can. I'm going to talk about this second one very quickly because it's over talked about. But I would say that if you are going to utilize modern tools, online software for research, social media, especially, particularly LinkedIn, which is where so many of my friends are marketing themselves nowadays, looking for leads, I would encourage you to consider this one change. And I'm going to talk about this more in engaging leads, but I'm going to preview it now. And I'm going to say this. You need to start making your social media marketing more about your audience, your intended audience, than you do about yourself. Let me say that again. You need to make your social media feed, your professional social media feeds, more about your ideal client than you do about yourself. I see far too many professionals are talking about all the ways their business is incredible and all the great things that they do and all the reasons why people should work with them. You need to talk more about the problems that your potential clients are facing. You need to educate them to death with all of the ways in which they can solve their problems. Give them all the DIY tips in the world. Inundate them with educational information that's going to benefit them. Make it less about you and more about them as often as you possibly can. And then finally, it is so important for you guys to align your tools with your strategies. First of all, I hope you have a sales strategy. If you have not yet developed a sales strategy for 2022, if you haven't put together a sales plan, you can reach out to me on any one of the social media platforms. You can DM me or you can email ryan@ryanjamesmiller.com and I will send you a free copy of our Building a Sales Plan tool. It's a guide that will walk you through ways in which you can build a sales plan for 2024. But I just want to say this. If you are going to be using social media, if you're going to be using advertising, if you are going to, whatever you're going to be doing, make sure that that aligns with the strategies that you've committed to, that it helps you to get to the plan, and that you have measurement tools in place to ensure that you're making progress towards your plan by using those tools. Too often people are showing up again on something like LinkedIn and they're just spewing and they have no idea what that's doing for them. Oh, I'm getting more views. Oh, I'm getting more likes. What is that doing? Nothing. Is that causing leads to engage with you? Are you leveraging those tools in such a way that it's actually helping you to achieve your goal, or are you just doing them because your friends told you you had to do them, or some guru told you you had to do them? Please don't make that mistake. Okay. Finally, when it comes to finding leads, and then we're going to move on to engaging leads. And boy, oh boy, we're already a long way through this in terms of time, and I got a lot to go. This always happens to me. I talk a lot. You probably know that already. Okay, by the way, if you're just jumping in, welcome. I would love for you to say hi. If you haven't said hi yet, drop a comment in there. Let me know who you are, where you're from, something that you're looking forward to hearing, or maybe a question that you have about really crushing that sales goal for 2024. But it starts with filling the pipeline. Okay, so finally, when it comes to finding leads, I want to encourage you to consider psychographic targeting as the primary way by which you are targeting prospects in the new year. Now, this term has been floated around a ton in the last year. And so I want to make it simple, and it's right up there on the screen for you. This is about understanding someone's actions, attitude, interest, personality, values, lifestyle, likes, dislikes. This is about how people think, act, and behave. Think about psychology, same idea. And you may be saying to yourself, it's right up there on the screen, but you may be saying to yourself, what does this matter? Why is this so important? Because people do business with people that they like. People will more often than not do business with other like-minded individuals. Think about your favorite client. Think about your best clients. Those are people that you are most closely aligned to. Give me a big amen in the comments if you would love to do business with 100 of your favorite clients and nobody else. Wouldn't that be amazing if you could just always only do business with your favorite clients? You see, we think our best clients are the ones that generate the most revenue, but our best clients are the ones that we're most aligned to. They're the ones that value us the most. They're the ones that engage with us the most. They're the ones that listen to our strategy the most. So when you consider who to prospect to, consider their psychographics. Here they come. Amen, 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 and a heck yeah from Melissa. I love it. I wish I'd have heard you say that out loud, Melissa. But really, we should be targeting individuals who are like us. This isn't about exclusion. This is about alignment. In a day and age, and I'm going to ruffle some feathers here, when diversity, equity, and inclusion is all the rage. And so therefore we fear talking about isolation or narrowing identification of individuals that we want to do business with. I'm going to encourage you to just block out all that DEI stuff. That has nothing to do with this. This has to do with the people that you are going to get along with the best, that are going to value you the most, that you are going to serve the very best, and ultimately that you are going to align with in this goal to produce incredible outcomes for the clients you serve. The better you do in serving your clients, the more money you're going to make. And so why wouldn't you want to find the people that were most closely aligned to you? And so here's a couple of tips. So one of the ways in which you can do this, so there's going to be two tips. One of the ways that you can do this is you can target the individual, right? You can look to social media typically to find individuals that share in similar likes as you. Maybe they like certain groups, they follow certain influencers. You can see that type of stuff on social media normally. So maybe that's it. Maybe you see some of the stuff they share, some of the content that they post, and that aligns with your values. Other times you can't find that as easily. And so what you may need to do is you may need to look to organizations that demonstrate those similar values under the assumption that the leadership of the organization, the decision makers that you're going to want to work with, share in those values as well. They may not be identical, but they will likely share in those values as well. And so consider psychographics when it comes to finding leads. Target people that are like you. And again, this means that your messaging, because you want them to find you too, your messaging needs to convey your values, your beliefs, your interests. It's super funny to me, ironic really. We have long been under this assumption that religion, I just combined the words, religion and politics are off limits. And I understand why people say that. Those are very, very volatile topics. And yet, I think that's something that we need to do more of. We don't need to talk about all the ways other religions are wrong. We don't need to talk about all the ways that the other political ideologies are wrong. We can just talk about the things that we believe in. We can share the things that we value. What's wrong with that? If you're going to offend somebody by communicating what's most important to you, that's not a good client for you. They may be a great person, but if they are offended because of what you believe, I don't think you should be doing business with them. Like, if you're here, you probably have followed me on social media for some period of time, and you know that I don't keep my mouth shut about my faith. My faith in Jesus is the most important thing to me in my life. I wouldn't be here in front of you guys had I not come to faith in 2006. But I hope what you've seen from me, whether you followed me for 3 months, 3 years, whatever, is that I always try to communicate my faith with as much grace, with as much consideration, and with as much love as I possibly can. And I believe I've done that very, very well. And in doing so, I have offended a lot of people. I have lost tens of thousands of dollars, and that is not an exaggeration, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars of opportunities at this point. I've been overlooked for awards. I've been overlooked for speaking opportunities, all because I publicly share my faith. I don't impose that on anybody else, but that's important to me. And so while it hurts, it stings to lose out on opportunities and lose out on money and lose out on recognition. I'm okay with that because I can't change me. And I want to do business with people that value me for me, because I've worked with people that don't agree with my faith, and yet we've built incredible relationships, and they respect the things about me that my faith has created in me. And so they don't even have to agree with it to value what I believe. Anyway, I don't want to get too preachy on this, but I just want you to understand that I get it. It's hard. If you put up your Biden sticker or your Trump sticker, it's going to tick some people off. But if that's what's important to you, so be it. And let the right people come to you and you go to them. You're going to be in a much better world if you're not having to tiptoe around your clients for fear that they may find you out for what you think or believe. As long as you don't think or believe jerky stuff. Again, that's for another conversation. That's why I believe psychographics are so important. Yes, there's some fears. Yes, there's some challenges, but in the long run, it is worth it. It's going to make you far more money. Okay, engaging leads. So I talked about opportunities to find leads. And I really do hope you guys, I hope you're finding practical tips. I'm not just trying to share story, idea, theory. I'm really trying to give you some practical ideas that will help you to fill the top of your funnel, because that's what's going to make you more money in 2024. Okay, engaging leads. So this is about the initial engagement. This is about the first impression and setting the right tone. Again, I talked about this to some degree when I was talking about finding leads, but now I want you to consider this when it comes to engaging leads. What is a prospect's first impression of you? And you may be saying to yourself, I don't know. Well, I would start asking. One of the greatest things that you can do to figure out what your first impression is, or what other people's first impression is of you, is after you engage with a prospect, one thing that I like to ask is what attracted you to me in the first place? What drew you in to want to take this meeting? What was it about me that led you to believe I could help you, that I was worth listening to, that I was worth giving time to? Learn. And if you like what you hear, do it more. And if you don't like what you hear, change it up. The first impression is so incredibly important. It's also so incredibly important to set the right tone early on. So I'm going to give you a tip for an opening line of your script. And so be ready, because I'm going to rattle this off kind of quickly. But one of the mistakes, and I'm going to get to the script in a second. One of the mistakes I hear salespeople make when they reach out for the first time is they will communicate with desperation, or they will communicate apologetically as if you're wasting the prospect's time or you're interrupting them. That does not set the right tone. If you deeply believe that you have an opportunity to make their world a better place, you should be confident in that. You don't have to excuse yourself for that. There's no apology necessary. You're not bothering them. You're giving them an opportunity to positively change their world. The problem is you may not believe that. And you need to do some soul searching to determine whether or not what you sell is even worth selling. Okay, so when we get over that, here is something that I love to coach and teach salespeople on as an opening line for when they call somebody and get somebody on the phone for the first time. Now, typically the goal of an initial outreach is to schedule an appointment, right? So I'm calling to try and get some time on your calendar to talk at more depth about what it is I want to talk to you about. So here we go. Again, I say some different variations to this, but here is what I love to say. Something to the effect of this. So I'm just going to use Justin as an example because his name's popped up on my screen here. Justin, I want to tell you how incredible X, Y, and Z are that I provide to you. Or Justin, I want to take the opportunity to tell you about all the incredible ways I can change your business for the rest of your life. But I believe that before I do that, I need to earn your trust. And in order to be trusted by you, I need to be liked by you. And so if you wouldn't mind, I would love for an opportunity to share a little bit about me and to hear a little bit about you to determine whether or not we're aligned and it would make sense for us to move forward. And there's different variations that you can use there, but the whole goal is to communicate to them that if we don't have a foundation of being known, liked, and even trusted to some degree, anything we say after this is gonzos. And you've run into this before, because how often have you communicated to somebody, I can change your world, I can save you money, I can help you do X, Y, or Z. And they basically tell you in so many words, you know what, that's too good to be true. I don't want to deal with this. Now, you may get hung up on anyway, but I feel like it goes a lot farther for you to put a stop to the doubt about what it is you're about to say and communicate your real intention, which is, I want to build a foundation of trust. And then I want to tell you all of the ways in which I can help you. And I want to hear all of the ways in which you think I can help you. I believe that that is a far better way to initially reach out. And as a matter of fact, some of you have seen our 21-day prospect pursuit. If you haven't seen that, again, Ryan at ryanjamesmiller.com or DM, I'll send that thing over to you. 7 touches, 21 days. And one of the things we try and tee up at the beginning of that prospect pursuit when we build customized versions of it for our clients is to incorporate that type of language into that first outreach when it's by phone, sometimes even by email. So make a first impression, set the right tone. If you're desperate, if you're apologetic, if you're rushed, you are setting the wrong tone. You are sending the wrong message. Secondarily to this, if you're going to engage leads, do your freaking research. Do your research. The internet has every single thing you need to know. Heck, you can find out what their favorite restaurant is if you try hard enough. Do your research. Be personal. I see my buddy Joel Baker, Ha Baker, Joel, I almost killed your last name. I did kill your last name for a second. I see my buddy Joel here on the phone or on this call. Joel is a good buddy of mine. His organization provides incredible IT service and support to businesses of all sizes across the country. I cannot recommend him enough. By the way, I didn't even mean to do this, but if you need or have any questions about IT services and support, managed IT services, reach out to Joel. You should find him on LinkedIn. He's probably popped up his name in the comments at least once by now. But if I was trying to prospect Joel, I would send Joel a box of cigars because I know Joel loves cigars. Right? It's like I could find that information if I dug deep enough. Maybe. Joel's social media is pretty locked down, but I think I could probably find it if I tried hard enough. There are things that I can find out about each one of you that would help me to be a little bit more personal when I'm trying to connect with them. But we have to be a little bit more personal. We can't just be the random lady or guy reaching out to trying to get time on their calendar. I mean, how many of us are solicited every single day and every message sounds the same? You know how many times I'm pitched to 10x my business or to get 50 to 70 new leads in my inbox every day? It's a joke. No one's ever personal. And then when they try to get personal, they try and screenshot a picture of like my face on top of something else. And they're like, I'm looking at you. It's so dumb. Do your research, be personal. Okay. I talked about this already. I always do this. I hit on a lot of things before I hit on them, but I just want to give you some tips around cold calling. I believe cold calling is alive and well. I believe cold calling is an incredible opportunity for you to create new opportunities for yourself. And I believe cold calling is one of the most underutilized efforts for filling the top of your pipeline. And I believe that reason is because you're afraid to do it, because you're not prepared to do it, or because you're not comfortable doing it. And I'm telling you right now, fix that and see how things will change. In order to effectively cold call, a couple of things are incredibly important. First up, you need to plan for your calls ahead of time. You should have your list, you should have your script, and you should have your research done, and you should also have a clear objective in mind. What is the purpose and intent of your call? How are you going to communicate that to the prospect? And how are you going to ensure that they hear exactly what you have to say in the limited time you get to say it? That's part two there. Create a compelling opening statement. Give them a reason to want more. Steve Martin, the great comedian, Three Amigos, baby. I know he's been in other movies. That's my favorite one. Steve Martin once said, "Be so good, you can't be ignored." Be so good, you can't be ignored. Create a compelling opening statement that they can't ignore. Say something so outlandish and crazy, as long as it's true, that they can't help but listen to more. I challenge you. And then listen. The other problem that a lot of people face when cold calling is they try to rush through it in hopes of getting a yes, or really just rushing to the no so they can get off the phone. I would say pause long enough to listen actively to every word that comes out of that person's mouth on the other end of the phone. Listen to tone, listen to the words, listen to everything they communicate, because you have no idea what you may be able to pick up on when you actually pay attention. Listen for pain. Listen for hopes. Listen for dreams. Trust me when I tell you, there are opportunities to get them, but you have to pay attention. Two, common mistakes. Common mistakes that I see people make when they cold call is they try and pitch too early. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, what do you mean, Ryan? My goal is to set a meeting with them. Yes, that is the goal typically on a cold call. The problem is you're trying to pitch a service. You're trying to pitch a solution. You may have been at this for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. You may know your business better than anybody else. And you probably know your industry better than your prospect, but you don't know your prospect's business better than the prospect. You may know how to solve their problems better than they do, but you don't know their business better than they do. You don't know how they feel. You don't know what they experience, even if you've seen a dozen people like them before. Don't make assumptions. Can I get an amen to not making assumptions? If you pitch too quickly, you may lose out on an opportunity to have further conversation. So be careful not to pitch too early. Also, make sure that you are respecting their time. Don't rush, but respect. If you ask for 3 to 5 minutes, don't take more than 5 minutes. Make sure that you respect the fact that you have inserted yourself into their day, into their rhythm, caught them off guard. Be respectful. But the way that we demonstrate the best respect, yes, Melissa, I do. They make an ass out of you and me. And I think we've probably both been in that situation a time or two because we've been at this a long time. But really, think about this. The best way to respect their time is to give it value. If you don't want to waste my time, make it valuable that you've taken my time. Give them something right out of the gate. Send them something that they can't get anywhere else. Not the box of donuts, but the strategy that could change their world. This is what it means there that people fail to offer value. You fail to offer value, and therefore all you are is a big waste of time. And all you're trying to do is check a box or achieve your goal. And it sounds like, at least, you don't care about theirs. Okay, moving along. Social selling. I'm going to blast through this one pretty quickly because I want to get to convincing them to listen. But social media is a wonderful way to find new prospects and to engage with them. And so 3 simple tips. You've heard this enough. I've done specific masterclasses on LinkedIn. We're going to be doing another one soon, a little bit different than probably what you've heard in the past. But for now, just let me leave you with these 3 best practices. Build a powerful online presence. But I want you to recall what I said early on in this class. A powerful online presence is not one that gets lots of likes and comments from your friends or your colleagues. A powerful online presence is one that communicates so much value that people that want to do business with you can't help but follow you. They're sitting on their edge of the seat waiting for you to share something else. You all have that podcast that you can't wait for the next episode to come out, or that YouTuber that you subscribe to that you just cannot wait for the next video to teach you something else. This is what I'm talking about. That's what it means to be a powerful online presence. Share valuable content that demonstrates expertise. Don't hold anything back. Let it all fly. And 3, engage with every single potential lead. This means on LinkedIn, we're seeing this trend where everybody's just liking and commenting on people's comments to generate more engagement. Let me tell you something, it's not working. It doesn't help you with more engagement. But what does is commenting meaningfully or DMing them after they comment. Or when you see people look at your profile, if you have a LinkedIn premium version, you should be DMing them once they look at your profile to build a further relationship with them. Make sure that you are making meaningful conversation after they've engaged with you, if they've engaged with you. All right. Convincing leads. This is the final way we're going to land this plane. We've got about 8 minutes. I don't think I'm going to do it in 8 minutes, so you may have to be over a little bit, or you're going to miss it. And sorry, that sometimes just happens. But this is the art of persuasion. And here are some simple principles to consider, and then I'm going to talk about putting these to work here in just a minute. But here are 5 common ways that you can persuade leads to engage with you. Number 1 is reciprocity. Give. You've heard me probably talk about this before. The book, The Go-Giver by Bob Berg. Bob was on my podcast 2 years ago now, 3 years ago now, I think. Wonderful individual. But Bob wrote a great book, The Go-Giver, and he talks about reciprocity in just the most incredible of ways. 2, by being committed and consistent. You can persuade people. You can convince people to engage with you by being consistent and being committed to your process. Most of you dodge in and dodge out of your sales efforts. You got a list of 1,000 leads. You kind of randomly send a piece out to each one of them. You get back to them 3 months later. You try again. That doesn't work. Be committed. Be consistent. Eventually, people will break. They will give in. 3, social proof. This isn't just social media, but have you ever felt the FOMO of somebody else sharing a raging testimonial for a local business in your area, maybe a restaurant or maybe a vacation they went on, and you're like, I got to do that too. I got to go where they went. I got to eat what they ate, right? You feel that. The same thing applies to your business. The more that you can project the success that you have created for other clients like them, the more of an opportunity that you create to suck them in to wanting to engage with you too. They feel FOMO. They want those results. They want to feel that way. They want to win that way. This isn't bragging. This is just proving to the world what you're capable of. 4, demonstrate authority. You should be an authoritative communicator in your industry. You should know what to say, how to say it, and you should say it often. Speak with authority, not dictatorship, but as though you know what you're talking about. Hopefully you know what you're talking about. Communicate in that way. The more authoritative somebody communicates, when done with grace, empathy, consideration, people tend to follow. They get sucked in. They feel persuaded to want to engage. And finally, as my favorite, or one of my favorite characters, Dalton from Roadhouse says, if you've watched the movie, you know the reference. He says, be nice. Just be nice. Some of you sound like a jerk. Maybe you're bashing, again, for my friends in benefits in the insurance business, you're bashing on the system so much that to many people from the outside, you are not a nice person. You are not somebody that I would want to talk to. I mean, you're so negative. You need to get people to like you. Be nice. Of course, if you see something bad, call it out. But just be careful because people from a distance are looking at you, thinking to themselves, I don't know if I want to spend time with that person. That just doesn't feel good to me. Put these principles to work by practicing these 5 things on a daily basis in front of the people that you want to do business with. And you may be saying to yourself, Ryan, I do this. And then I'm going to challenge you 1%. Do it 1% better. Commit to each one of those 1% more every single day. In order to convince leads, we need to effectively communicate. Do you know what your value proposition is as an organization? I was coaching a client yesterday. He is the VP of sales for a pretty well-established organization, and they've got these 4 pillars, and they're fantastic. They are pillars that they live by and believe by as an organization. But all of their marketing material communicates why those things are amazing for them. And I said, those things are incredible value propositions if you were to turn the message and communicate and convey its value to the person you're trying to reach. Right? Every one of our prospects, I heard this in a Zig Ziglar training 2 decades ago. Every one of our prospects walks around with a big sign on their head that says, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Well, your value proposition, the unique value that you bring to the market that's better than anybody else, should convey the value that it brings to the individual you're trying to convey it to, not to make yourself look good. Too much of our marketing messages is, oh, look at me. Look at how great I am. Look at all the amazing work I do. Tell me how that benefits the client. Tell me how your incredible service team benefits the client. That's the value proposition I want to hear. Be clear and persuasive in your communication. If you don't believe in what you're saying, quit saying it. Believe it in your heart. Preach it to the world. But if you don't believe it, quit saying it. This is why, for some of you business owners, your sales team is struggling because they're there to do a job, but they don't believe in the job they're doing. And so you may need to do a better job of instilling that belief into them. I'm traveling across the country next month. I'm super excited to do this, to actually work through a full day's workshop with a sales team of about 16 to 18 people, as well as their entire executive team on this very thing. They're an incredible organization with amazing values, doing phenomenal things in the industry that they serve. The problem is there is a disconnect between the organization's intent and belief and what the market is receiving from them. They're doing great work, but the message that they're getting in the marketplace does not convey that passion and those values, and they're missing out on a significant opportunity. And so we're going to workshop with the entire team for a whole day around how to become more persuasive and more clear in communicating what we believe to be true. And then finally, if you want to effectively communicate more effectively, utilize storytelling. Tell stories to connect. You can tell stories about yourself and your own experiences. You can tell stories about other clients that have walked this journey. It's incredibly helpful for you to do this. Craig, I would love to get back to Dallas. I'm hoping to do so early next year. And if so, I'm going to look you up, man. We have to more effectively communicate. We have to more passionately Communicate what it is we're trying to do and why we want to do it. That's how we convince leads. And finally, to convince leads, we need to build more trust and rapport. Look, it is incredibly important that we build trust for long-term relationships. And you may be saying to yourself, well, Ryan, I do have a lot of trust built with my clients because I've been working with them a long time. Are you putting that same level of effort into your leads? Are you willing to build trust and rapport with a lead for the next 2 years in hopes that when the opportunity arises 2 years from now, they trust you enough to give you a shot? You see, most of us want it now. We're under a deadline. We have a goal to achieve. We need to hurry up and sell. But if we're playing the wise long game in business, we should be looking out years. If your pipeline is lean, that's because 2 years ago you weren't working hard enough. If you don't want to make the same mistake 2 years from now, you have to build in trust now. You have to build rapport now. Become somebody that they would choose to do business with when given the opportunity to make a change with who they do business with. In some simple ways that we can do that, be more empathetic to the situations that your clients are in and communicate that. Listen more intently to the root cause of their problem. You know, nobody in business ultimately has a problem with paying too much money for a product or service. Because if they had 10 times the revenue, they wouldn't care about spending that money. If their profits weren't so lean, they wouldn't care about spending that money. If they didn't have if they had an excess of assets or resources to invest in other areas of the business, they wouldn't care about spending that money. You see, but because they aren't generating enough revenue, or because they can't invest into those other areas of the business that they want to or need to, all of a sudden they have a cost problem. But you need to listen to what they're truly trying to solve, what they're truly after accomplishing. And it may have nothing to do with your product or service at all, but your product or service may be the means to the end that they need. But you just hear that they have a cost problem and you just pounce on it. You got to do better than that. And finally, balance professionalism with humanity. Be professional, show up, do well, present yourself well, but be a human being. Care. Feel sad. Be angry about a bad situation. Demonstrate passion. Love people. This is what we're called to do in the world. Why aren't we doing it more in business? The better we show up as a human being, the greater the likelihood of us filling the top of that pipeline. So as we land, I've mentioned a couple of resources here, and I just want you guys to know this is not an exaggeration at all. There are 10 resources that are listed on the screen. If you want to take a quick screenshot of that, you can. We've shared them before on social media. We will do it again. All 10 of those and the 11th to come, which is being built on the back end of this masterclass, all of these are available to you at no cost. I'm not going to send them all to you, and here's why. Because they just become a stack of papers or a bunch of files that you put away. But if you want one or more of these resources, reach out to me and let me know. And I'd be happy to share them with you. But I'm going to follow up with you to ask you whether or not you've implemented it. Because if you're going to ask for more, I want to know that you did something with the first one that I sent you. Or I want to hear from you that it really sucked. If you are interested in making 2024 a career year, and this is specifically for my friends in the employee benefits community, which there's a lot of you that are here in that space, I want to encourage you to consider joining our coaching community for 2024. You can you can scan the QR code there. You can go to ryanjamesmiller.com/connect and click on the benefits link that pops up there. You guys, I cannot tell you how passionate I am about solving these problems that you have. Filling your pipeline, converting deals, generating more revenue for your agency and for yourself. I want this so badly. And I'm telling you right now, I am 100% confident that I can make your world better than it is right now. 100% confident. I don't care where you're at. I am confident because I have done the work, because we have built the tools, we have built the systems, we have built the processes, and we have created the community that is doing this together. But this is going to require you to take a leap of faith if you're on the fence. Maybe you need private one-to-one coaching sessions. We can do that. Maybe you need community coaching calls where you can get into an environment of like-minded professionals with peers that are going to pour into you and you into them. We are here to support your every need, but you have to take the next step. I believe that even through a masterclass like this, I have demonstrated to you that there is value to be had and there is far more available. I will continue to keep sharing free resource after free resource throughout the course of 2024 because I believe that is just scratching the surface. It's not the resource, it's the execution of the resource where you will succeed. And so I would encourage you, if you are in the employee benefits space, healthcare, health insurance, scan that QR code. If you feel like, you know what, I'm not sure, I'm on the fence, book a call. Let's talk more about how I can impact your agency or you as an individual in 2024. You can ask, you can go onto my LinkedIn profile and you can look at every single recommendation that's there from your peers. You can ask anybody in the industry that I've done 1 hour, 1 week, or 3 years of work with, and they will all tell you the same thing. I've helped to transform their business and their life, and I can do the same thing for you, but you've got to give me that shot. I hope this has been extremely valuable for you guys. I try to pour as much as I can into these masterclasses. Obviously, you can tell because this one went over the hour. If you have any questions, if you want one of those resources that I shared, if there is anything at all that I can do for you, ryanjamesmiller.com/connect. You can book a call. You can check out some of the resources that are there. You can email ryan@ryanjamesmiller.com. I am here for you. I want to support you. Let's make 2024 your best sales year yet, but you got to commit. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for jumping in and commenting. I pray that you have an incredible Christmas and a new year. Stay safe. Be blessed. Get after it. Thanks, guys, and talk to you soon.